Alrighty. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I see a video from this guy, Battle Order. That's a pretty good channel for the most part. Fairly good detail. But they're making a video on how Chinese Marines would invade Taiwan. And I say to myself, yeah, mainland China and Taiwan do not have the best relationship. But I think that China doesn't, ultimately, at least right now, in my opinion, does not want to ruin that relationship. I mean, yeah, the official party line is, yeah, that's not the real China, this and that. But the thing is that there are plenty of mainland citizens who are considered dissidents who go to Taiwan. So, in my opinion, it would be much easier for China to have better optics. I'm sorry. Why did I say optics? I'm sorry. To have better propaganda. And I know that there are pro CPC parties in Taiwan. And I think the Kuomintang, that party goes back and forth about how legit they are, how much people like them. But in general, I think that I'm just going to try to use my words carefully, but I think that it's easier for, some pro CPC, Chinese politicians in Taiwan promoting unity with the PRC is much easier than going to war. I mean, to me anyway. Why wouldn't the Chinese have an anschluss? Like what they did with Austria, Now, of course, I know people are going to say, well, before the anschluss, you had, what's his name? What is that fool's name? Oh, yeah, Engelbert, you had Dolphus. You had Dolphus, who I guess considered himself a fascist, and people will still be like, yeah, he was a real fascist, and Hitler was the fake one, and all this sort of thing. And the Nazis tried to kill him, or they did kill him, I should say. And he was very violent in cracking down on rebellion, mostly from the Social Democrats. And so I do realize, like I said, but to me, it would be much easier for an infiltration and sort of a, hey, let's improve relations with mainland China, and let's stop this back and forth feihua. I think that would be much easier than some sort of big conflict. Like I say, China. I mean, everyone can talk about the capabilities and everything else like that of the PLA and everything else. Me personally, I'm not necessarily the most versed person on military affairs, but I will say that to me, it just seems easier to continue on this path, at least for now, of using soft power instead of using hard power. People can go ahead and say, oh, well, look at what China is doing in these African nations and shit like that. Oh, it's so awful. But in general, it's much more behind the scenes. So to me, it would just seem easier to be like, yeah, let's go ahead and, break bread with mainland China and let's make it work, right? Now, I'm using mainland China, PRC, CPC. I'm using these terms interchangeably. And I know that those are all different entities in and of themselves. I do realize that. But I'm saying to myself, this is going to be a new series. I'm just going to call Shooting My Mouth Off, which implies that they're not really that well researched necessarily, but maybe somebody can get some sort of semblance of a take in here that was decent, So I think that's all I really have to say on that. I just feel like, why would the Chinese want to invade Taiwan? Doesn't make any sense. Why? I mean, the Kuomintang, like I say, goes back and forth in terms of how well they're liked versus, like I said, that's my take on it anyway. It's just like, all right, bro. But yeah. And I think it goes to show further, there's this whole idea of America bad, but American hegemony is better than Chinese hegemony for reasons, because they're more violent and shit like that. Because basically they want to stay Han Chinese. It's just like, that's why Wignets, kind of have this love and hate relationship with China, where it's just like, they know that the Chinese don't like, the white people, but they want to maintain the Han Chinese race. I'm just going to say it. The Han Chinese ethnicity. They want to maintain it. So yeah, like I said, those are the two sides of it, basically, in my opinion, where it's just like, America bad, China and Russia good. And like I say, to me, it's just such a simplified sort of argument, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, that's how I see it, That's why I don't trust most mainstream lefties anyway, where they're just like, well, they either become pro-China and pro-Russia, and they're just, they just completely give in. And to me, I would say arguably China and Russia are better versus the United States. But I think it's like the classic phrase of the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. Anywho, that's all I got. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. See you later. Goodbye.